Yo, what is up, guys? Trader Mayne here. A little bit of a different video today. It's a little bit of a throwback for my OG Trader Mayne fans who've been watching the YouTube for a while. I apologize for the comically large water bottle. We're gonna do an episode of Metals with Mayne. So if you've been watching my streams and my videos for a long time, you remember back in 2018, 2019, I did videos called Metals with Mayne where I would cover gold, silver, and then the dollar. And I kind of explained how I traded all of those assets. Still to this day, probably my favorite instruments outside of obviously crypto. When crypto's going, there is no second best.
There is no second best.
Michael Saylor is correct. But metals, super clean, super consistent. You can compare gold and silver both versus the DXY and get kind of some very basic cross-market analysis, which is great. And then you can also look at things like the gold-silver ratio, which kind of works like FBTC. It's gold compared to silver, right? So there's going to be periods where gold outperforms, silver outperforms. So we'll cover all of that today. It won't be a super long video. If you guys like this, and this is something you'd like me to bring back, I'm potentially open to it. So let me know. Leave comments in the description of the video, that kind of thing. But let's get into it. I think it's gonna be fun, and the timing is perfect because gold is a few points away from all-time high, and silver is, chatting hard as fuck. Real quick, guys, this video is brought to you in partnership with Utrust. So as you guys know, I've been working with Utrust for a while. This is a company that I have invested in personally, and they've continued to iterate and grow and get more market share over the last couple of years. And with all the craziness that's going on in the crypto space right now, it's great to see a company like Utrust still focusing on privacy and making a real world use case for crypto for payments. So you can do online payments with digital currencies. It gives e-commerce businesses the ability to accept digital currencies and get all the benefits of that you wouldn't get with traditional payment methods. Used in over 180 countries, nearly every industry. They support more than 30 currencies worldwide, and they're partnered with some of the biggest businesses and organizations around the globe. What's really exciting, they're going to be rolling out the X Portal app. That's coming out on April 14th. And this is going to be their new wallet app. The UI is super slick, easy to navigate. This is going to be where you can take advantage of all the things that the Multiverse X, Utrust, eGold team is doing. You're going to be able to hold crypto on there, buy crypto. There'll be a card associated with it. Very exciting stuff. Congratulations on that major milestone to the Utrust team. Let's get back to the video. So let's start with gold. Those of you who, like I said, have been OG fans, you'll know that we were bullish on gold way back before this leg even happened, right? Like some of these episodes, let's just see, what was the last Metals with Mayne? December 11th, 2020 seems to be the last one I did. So we'll go here, December 2020, right? Like right before the major run up, we were talking about being bullish on gold. And I remember if you go on Twitter, you can find these tweets as well of me basically nailing the bottom on gold down here as well before this big rally up, and it was all done on those Metals with Mayne videos. I highly suggest you check those out on YouTube, because just because the price action is stale, I've said this before, it does not mean that the content is not good. Lots of alpha. This was an hour-long Metals with Mayne stream. Look, that's my old house. Holy smokes. Look at the dust. They're still looking fresh. Anyways, so where are we at right now? Huge run up on gold, made a new all-time high. Right? So made new all-time highs here, then had a, decent shakeout, another move up, very close to all-time high, and now a dip. Looking at this on the high time frame, this is uber bullish to me, and I'll explain why. So if you look here, you have relatively equal highs, right? There's your obvious draw on liquidity. This is the monthly chart. What did we do here? Relatively equal lows. Right? So we made a high, made another high. You could call this inducement. There's, buy side liquidity up here. Made a low, made a equal low. Now we have equal lows, equal highs, right? So I talk about ranges all the time and how I like to operate at the extremes of ranges. This is a range. We made equal lows at the range low, right? Liquidity down there. What happens? Bang. We run those equal lows out. Back inside the range, where's your next target? Probably those equal highs at the top of the range, right? Bang. Boom, boom. Liquidity to liquidity. So what do we see here? We have that range form on the monthly. This is super high time frame, right? Run out those lows, blow out those lows, instantly bought back. You need to be bullish at that point with a very obvious high time frame draw of those relatively equal highs on the monthly. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit here. Weekly, very similar type of PA, but the weekly gave you a actual setup just on the weekly alone, even more lows over here. Now, when you take the weekly into account, right? Just the double bottom here on the monthly, you can see on the weekly there's even more lows. Ran it, right? We ran the lows here, instantly back above. What do we have? Here's a breaker. We're slowly zooming that scope in, right? I always talk about ran the lows. We have an obvious upside objective. We purged liquidity, so we purged sell side. Now I'm targeting back to buy side, right? The other side of that range. Now we have a breaker. So during this 2 to 3 week span here, you're looking for reasons to get long on this breaker, right? With a target of higher. And again, you don't have to enter on the weekly time frame. When you zoom in, go down to the 12-hour, you get even more detail, right? Look at what happens after we get above this area, this weekly zone. Straight up just an uptrend. Can you not find an entry in any of this or this big pullback? When we're in an uptrend here, we're ripping, you're buying the dip. Okay, we get a big correction. Where does it correct to? Blows out old lows. Exact same idea as down here. Take out the old low. Where's the obvious target? We're in an uptrend and we just took out some intermediate term lows and then reclaimed. Where's your target now? Bang, right? This is just a fractal of what we're looking at on the monthly. Took out the lows, now going for the highs. So you see that here in this move. There's a breaker in here as well. Exact same setup. And then again, the 12-hour, absolutely there has to be a setup here that you can see, right? You have a fair value gap entry. You have just straight up order block entries. Here's an SFP. Break in market structure, pull back, move away. Why does this bullish SFP on the 12-hour and this 12-hour breaker, why does it give you the huge reaction as opposed to some other random one over here? Like let's say this is an SFP. Why'd this one not give us this type of reaction? Context, weekly breaker, high time frame liquidity run to the downside, high time frame liquidity target to the upside, bang. That's where you get those explosive moves when you have that top-down analysis done and the time frames are congruent, right? The time frames are in sync. You're looking for a bullish setup on the 12-hour chart based on bullish weekly and monthly analysis, right? And then again, if you trade like I trade, you can go in, right? I'm just using this as one random example. We'll get to live price action in a second. You know, you can go in on the hourly. Okay, we have our 12-hour breaker, H1 SFP, H1 breaker, clean as a whistle right there. Another H1 set up here, right? On the run of this low. Any of these can be playable. This even, you could argue, is a breaker like this, right? Up candle, took out a low, got back above. We're now bullish there. What I'm just trying to illustrate here, beyond saying, hey, look at how clear this was. Ran the lows, now we target the highs, but it trades clean. The levels, if you trade how I trade at least, right, and you're doing this top-down analysis, then you're executing, looking for order blocks, fair value gaps, breakers, things like that. I just find that gold and silver both respect the PA, or at least how I view PA and price action tools, whether it's supply and demand, order blocks, whatever you want to call it, it respects it. It works really well. I have a very high hit rate on gold and silver. My hit rate on gold and silver trades is over 65%. My crypto trades is closer to 50%. So just to give you an idea of what I mean, I find it to be super consistent. I love trading it. And I think if you put the time in, you can really like it too. So monthly, blah, blah, blah. We went over how we kind of got from here to here, this being our obvious draw still. So in my opinion, even if we zoom in here, I was looking to short gold on this pullback here. Basically, I'd seen that this move was getting quite extended, right? We had a huge rally. I'm like, this has to dip. So I shorted into this weekly order block. And where did I target? The bullish weekly order block. So I'm still bullish, but I want to buy lower. And I tweeted this out. You can go find the short here. And we played a beautiful short on this. Kind of your 3 drives to the high. Then your breakdown, big pullback. 1 push, 2 push, 3rd push, break in market structure. Sold off into weekly demand. And I tweeted out, hey, now gold is at an area of interest for me. I'm interested in being a bull. You can go into the 12-hour. Okay, we have a 12-hour order block now within the weekly order block. Hourly, do we get some sort of setup? Do we see bullish PA? We have the high time frame Confluence, just like that example I gave you down at the low there. Same type of confidence building we're doing here. Weekly order block, 12-hour order block, high time frame draw and liquidity is still above us. And is there an hourly entry here? I would reckon, yeah. There's a few, kind of an over-under there, especially once we broke above here. I mean, you need to be buying one of these pullbacks. This is just straight up bull market trading. You're buying dips into order blocks because you're bullish. I was long, biased up into here, and now we've pushed through this order block that caused the rejection. SFP'd this high, a little bit of a pullback, but really we're just retesting these old highs here. If you zoom in, it's pretty clean, right? Just retesting this. So we broke above, consolidating. We're consolidating right above support. So if I'm looking at this now saying, what is the next move? What is the next trade on gold? I still believe that this is the draw on price, okay? I still believe that we're going to make new all-time highs and we're going to trade over 2100. If we go down to the lower time frame here, what are we looking for? We're looking for reasons to get long, but I'm aware that this is an extended move even on the weekly. Maybe this is all the retest you're going to get before all-time high, but this is still a very extended move. Just since the end of February, gold is up 13%. So if I go down to the 12-hour, we have a very clear, remember, still bullish to upside, a very clear 12-hour range here from this low to this high that's been made. So I want to see price now retrace into this range, into perhaps one of these, this kind of 12-hour order block here. And then I want to see low time frame bullish PA on the hourly. And then I want to get in longs. If we take out this low here, that would be a short-term market structure shift and short-term relative to the weekly. 12-hour still relatively high time frame, but it would be a lower time frame market structure shift on the 12-hour that might signal that we're actually going to get a deeper correction before going back up. So the first area that I'm interested in, though, is down here, right? Basically 1980 down to 1950. I want to see if we pull back here, do we put in bullish price action on the lower time frame? If so, I'll look to get long with a target of 2100, target of higher prices. If we're going to have a larger correction and a larger pullback, then I'll be looking much lower, right? I'll be looking down probably into this weekly fair value gap here. And I'm sure we will see some 12-hour PA within here. Yeah, there's a 12-hour order block. So maybe this would be the next area. So if this fails, I'll look lower. I'll look 1930 down to 1870. This weekly fair value gap, I'd specifically focus on, hey, maybe we're going to run these lows here. We have these lows. Maybe this is going to pull back deeper, wants to tag this OB, and then go up. The bottom line is I still have a bias of upside. So wherever this pulls back to, I'm going to be looking for the low time frame to sink back up. So what do I mean by that? If we are pulling back here on the 12-hour, on the hourly, we're going to be in a downtrend. And if that downtrend flips to a bull trend, right, an uptrend, excuse me, on the low time frame, that's a clue to me that this 12-hour uptrend, right, which never broke structure, is likely going to see continuation. Same thing here, right? If we break this 12-hour low, but we come into here, I'll then look for the 12-hour to put in some sort of short-term bullish market structure. I'll look for the hourly to flip bullish as well, which will let me know that, hey, that weekly bullish trend, even though on the 12-hour this was a downtrend, the weekly bullish trend is still intact and we're still likely to trade higher. So what is the confluence for this, right? Is you look at the dollar and you say, okay, you can see already how nice this is when you have the ability to compare these two assets that are extremely correlated. It's almost like the inverse, right? Look at the bottom on the dollar here, or on gold here. Look at the top on the dollar, right? Right around the same time. When the dollar bottomed out, what did gold do? Pulled back. When the dollar was way up here, what was happening to gold? Gold was getting smoked, right? So when the dollar was making that crazy push to the upside to 114, 115, gold was down at 1600. Now the dollar's been down only. Since October of 2022, dollar's been basically down only. October of 2022, Gold's basically been up only. So how do you use this, right? Just like we do with Ethereum BTC, just like I do with the dollar and BTC, I do it with gold and the dollar. So if I'm thinking that we're going to get a short-term correction here on gold, I'm going to be looking for the dollar to be bullish. So we have this weekly bullish order block. We're within this range. Weekly bullish order block. Potential for a weekly SFP here. We'll see how this candle closes tomorrow, but we could be SFPing this low. You go to the 12-hour, there's the low. We're trading right at it right now. So the bulls want to see this catch a bid here and trade higher. And that would line up, right? So if this is able to get a bounce here, maybe closes an SFP, and push up to this high, that's going to be confluent with gold pulling back. Crypto would pull back likely as well. Equities would pull back likely as well. But we're focused on gold right now. So I'm using two markets to help strengthen that bias. So if my bias is ultimately higher prices on gold, but a pullback first, I would want to see, I almost just said ultimately again, I don't know why, but then that would mean I want to see a move up on dollar and then a further decline. So if we maybe just have a shallow move up, maybe this is that shallow pullback on gold. But if we get a serious move up and we start trading back up towards 105, maybe back up to the range high, that will be confluent with an even deeper pullback in gold. But I'm still bearish on the dollar high time frame. I still think the dollar probably trades towards February's low here, and then maybe, even lower. This looks like a massive kind of like range deviation here that's playing out. Like if you go to the monthly, even longer, if you go out to the super high time frame, right? Like this is the range the dollar's been in from like here to here. What the fuck is that? It looks like a deviation. Looks like we broke out, rallied super hard, and now we're back in. And this looks like it could trade all the way back to the mid-range potentially. So that would be super bullish crypto, gold, etc. But it doesn't have to just dump from here. It can pump up first. It could run these highs and then it could pull back. But I can use this short-term analysis on the dollar. So forget what it's doing super high time frame. And I do think that there's a lot of USD doomer talk right now going on. Everyone's talking about how it's the end of the dollar and it's no longer going to be the reserve currency. Perfect time for it to go up, in my opinion, just purely on sentiment. But short-term, my analysis on the dollar saying, hey, I think this might bounce a bit, is confluence with my analysis on gold thinking, hey, this might pull back a bit. Now we look at silver. Extremely Chad. This is up 22% in the last month and a bit. Crazy. So similar to gold, bunch of lows here, sold below them. If you're not bullish here, which I can understand, right? Looks like it just broke market structure. When it reclaims this floor here, what do you need to be doing? You need to be saying looking left and finding an opportunity to long that retest. And this was a super clean. And again, this was posted in my Telegram, on Twitter, in Discord. It gets lost because no one cares about metals. That's why I stopped the series in the first place. It just wasn't getting the same views as my crypto content. But you have a breaker here, right? Ran the low, up candle, also led to this massive push up. You have another low here that gets run right into that breaker. This was a big time bid, and I publicly longed this on Twitter. You can go find it. Just look up Trader Mayne and silver. We longed this move. But same concept as gold. Very clear draw on liquidity. Bang. Where's the draw on liquidity now? My opinion, up here. 25, 30 bucks. Been talking about that. If you've been following, been talking about that area being confluent with this order block. Came up, engineered liquidity. Left highs right there. Gave you a beautiful pullback. Ran out the low. Now where do we target? Here's your range. Range low to range high. We just ran out the range low and there's liquidity at the highs. Run it back turbo. Again, just showing it's so clean. I love how this shit trades. Crisp. Look at the monthly here. Monthly breaker. Bang. We posted this on Twitter as well. Huge market cycle, bear market, accumulation. We literally, it's clean as fuck. Clear bottom, run all of the lows of the bottom, and then huge reaction to the upside, break in market structure. You need to be bidding this breaker every fucking day. And even if you're not bidding the breaker, you're saying, I'm bullish here. You go down to the weekly. What is it? Is there anything bullish happening in this area? Because I'm supposed to be bullish down here. Oh yeah, there's a weekly bullish order block here. And there's a weekly stop run. 12 hours, zoom in again. Yeah, there's some shit over here, but 12 hours low enough. Based on the weekly and the monthly, you got to be finding a 12-hour setup here. Weekly order block, monthly order block, weekly run on liquidity. We trade below. Look at the first order block, down candle for the up move that breaks market structure. Is that not clean as fuck? I could then even go lower. I could mark out this 12-hour SFP, probably go down to the hourly, find another entry. And there's going to be a ton of entries in here, but it's that top-down analysis, right? I know this is all hindsight. Everyone's like, it's easy in hindsight. I posted this shit in advance. It's on Twitter. I don't delete tweets. Go look. When I get shit wrong, it stays up. I don't care. I posted this monthly bullish breaker. I posted that I'm longing silver all publicly there with a target of 25 when it was at 18. And if you trade like I trade, none of these concepts are foreign to you, right? This is all stuff we've covered. So big time bully, obvious reasons to be bully. Inducement here on the weekly, run the lows, bang right into what? A weekly bullish order block. That's where the higher low forms. And it has like a very clear run on liquidity there. Bread and butter, right? Zoom in this area. Is there a 12-hour setup here? I would say this is a 12-hour breaker. Comes shy of it, but does it not give you a 12-hour SFP? Can you find a setup within there? I would say yeah. I'd say yeah, you do. Order block, breaker, over, under. Again, why is it this order block work? Why does this order block give you the monster reaction? Why does this order block give you the big reaction and you know other ones don't? Context. We broke it down from the monthly to the weekly to the 12-hour. I'm bullish on all of those high time frames. So when I go find a bullish PD array on the lower time frame that's in sync with that high time frame direction, the likelihood of it working out and giving me a strong reaction is much higher. So where are we now? Similar to gold, this is getting a little extended. We are into resistance. We just took out a high here. If dollar is able to get a bounce, I think silver, just like gold, has a very clear range, and I'd be looking to buy the dip. There's your range low. Here's your range high. Here is a 12-hour order block near the bottom of that range. So if we get a bounce on the dollar and a pullback on silver, and then the dollar flips bearish, and this is starting to flip bullish within here, that's the double whammy, right? That's what we're looking for the confluence from both markets. So just like gold, looking for a little bit of a pullback. Maybe it doesn't come this deep. Maybe it just retests these highs. Bottom line is, on this pullback, if it pulls back, it could just go up from here, obviously. But if it pulls back, I'm going to be looking for it to catch a bid, and I'm going to be looking for that bid to get caught and to be in time, and time similarly to dollar hitting some form of resistance. When silver's at resistance, I want dollar at support, and that's going to give me the highest probability silver short. When the dollar's at resistance and the silver or gold, interchangeable here, is at support, that's going to give me the highest probability long. Okay, so that's the plan here, right? Same as gold. Hoping this pulls back here. Then I want to see some low time frame bullish PA form. Then I want to get involved because I still think silver can trade to 30. So that's been an episode of Metals with Mayne. Okay, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you do like these types of videos and you want to see more of this metal focused content, not just crypto content. I trade equities. I trade Forex. I don't just trade crypto. I just mostly post about crypto because that's what gets me the most likes, the most dopamine, and that's that shit I do like. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. Respect the watch, respect the neck. Trader Mayne signing off. Thanks, guys.